They meet today in South Bend. The opening kickoff on Halloween Day coming up. Notre Dame and Baylor, their first meeting since 1925. The day is gray, and so is our on-field reporter.
Well, what a play with words there. That was quite a trick there, Dick. It's Halloween everywhere across the land, except for here today at Notre Dame. Well, why, you ask? City officials here were heard from by the Notre Dame officials, and the Notre Dame officials asked them not to celebrate the holiday today. They didn't want anything to interfere with the game. So the city fathers here in South Bend said, okay, we'll move Halloween to yesterday. So trick-or-treating is not permissible today. The main reason is they didn't want the kids out on the roads with all the cars after leaving the game, and they wanted everybody to watch the game. So you can't dress up today. However, well, I just caught the opening kickoff. However, the officials here at Notre Dame say, Dick, they are going to leave January 1st as New Year's Day. Upstairs to you.
But still no word on Thanksgiving, huh, Jim? Nice catch. We're off to a good start. Well, so many of the fans are in their own way in costume for the game today, as Baylor, the largest Baptist school in the world, and the Catholics are represented by Notre Dame today. Dave Roberts in his second year, West Carolina linebacker in his college days, against the former tight end at Youngstown State, Bob Davie. After a struggling start a year ago at 1-4, the Davie Magic starting to work here at Notre Dame. And there, number 7, you saw, Jarius Jackson, is the key. I think, Pat Hayden, is just how far and how good this team will be at season's end.
You're absolutely right. He has improved dramatically since that first game against Michigan. But as we talked about at the top, they need some easier touchdowns, some bigger plays through both the passing game and in the option game. You'll see Jarius run more option plays today.
Notre Dame won the toss and defers to the second half, and so Baylor will have an opportunity on offense, working from right to left. They send out deep. Number 1, Audrey Fuller, a 5'10" freshman from Aldine, Texas. Irish, 7 straight wins here at home, and even their losses in the last few years have been very close and to be tough to win here if you're a visitor. Number 11 is Elijah Perkins. He also, and now he drifts back deep as Fuller moves out on a wing. Other wingman is Martin Dossett, and those 3 men could form a pretty good part of a sprint relay team. They've got a lot of speed, and one factor that favors Baylor, they're faster as a team than Notre Dame. Well, the hero of a week ago waits his turn. Jim Sanson, the place kicker. Punter Hunter Smith kicks off, and he's ready to go on a gray fall day in northern Indiana. Perkins, a junior from Port Arthur. A line drive kick that comes up to the short man, Dossett. He's at the 25, 30, 35, and across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Martin Dossett, a speedy sophomore from Gregory, Texas, 32 on the return. Now let's take a look at the principal financial group starting lineups. The Baylor offensive line and their weights: German, Garmin, Summers, Watton, Derek Fletcher, 344 pounds. Many feel he'll be a number 1 draft pick in the NFL next year. Alfred is the quarterback. Darrell Bush and Lagway the runners. Thompson and Anderson outside, and O'Briati is the tight end. They come out in 4 wides with Lagway, and Lagway gets the handoff to the 45 and a gain of 2. Lamont Bryant makes the stop for the Irish. And Notre Dame defensively, here are their starters: Weaver, Legree, and Williams up front. Linebacking core, and that was the strength at the start of the season, continues to be so. Minor, Friday, Howard, and Bryant. Brock Williams and Ty Good at the corners. The safeties, Sanders and Gilbo gets the start. The throw to the wide receiver, and it's Jarius Thompson. And Thompson near a first down as he crosses midfield into Irish territory. Thompson with 22 catches this year. He's second to the other wide receiver, Morris Anderson, who has 25. Both men big, rangy, good hands. Bears for Baylor. Short of the first down, 3rd and 1.5 yards. Bush, the running back, in motion. Lagway, first down to the Notre Dame 45.
Well, remember, Greg Madison, the defensive coordinator of Notre Dame, said to us yesterday, hey, we do not want to let Derek Lagway get started earlier. Again, watch these guys. Big offensive line for Baylor. Nice gap there. Good eyes by Lagway. He said, hey, as soon as he gets off the bus, we want to start tackling Derek Lagway. We don't want him getting feeling pretty good about himself early in this ball game.
You saw that big mountain of a tackle. 65 Fletcher seal off the hole to give Lagway running room. The draw to Lagway, flag down, and so is Lagway after 2 yards. And the first penalty, and this is a Big 12 officiating crew. The home conference of the Baylor Bears, and referee is Terry Turlington. Illegal procedure against Baylor.
Well, this has been a problem for Dave Roberts' Baylor Bears. That's penalties. Had 11 penalties last week. And they just haven't had...
Illegal formation, 6 men on the line of scrimmage, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Terry's right, you need 7. But, they haven't had any consistency in offense, Dick. I think they try to do so many different things. They'll run wishbone some, and then 4 wide outs, then some I formation. They really haven't gotten consistency really out of the quarterback position.
I hear 4 wides with Lagway, and now the quarterback, Jermaine Alfred, into the shotgun. Very close to not having their right side on the line of scrimmage. The throw, and not even looking, was Darrell Bush, the intended receiver.
Now, Darrell Bush is ordinarily a halfback, lined up as a wide receiver. Now it's an uncomfortable situation there for Dick, because he should read that blitz. When that blitz comes, Darrell Bush is hot. He has to run a slant route. Darrell Bush was not expecting the ball. And again, a little bit somewhat out of position, as ordinarily is a tailback.
Sophomore leads Baylor in rushing with 331 yards. And another illegal procedure as Alfred pulled back to expecting the snap, and number 50 Joe Jackson didn't have it there for him. So the problems that have plagued Dave Roberts in execution continue here early against Notre Dame.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, remains second down.
One thing Baylor does, you can see some movement up here again, but second in this drive. One thing Baylor does have, real good height and athleticism at the wide receiver position, Dick. And even though this is, second and forever, these are the ones the coaches worry about. Your offensive receivers out jumping defenders.
Alfred was the only man who moved on that last play, so you have to figure the onus falls on his shoulders.
Wait a minute, good play.
Alfred on 2nd and 20 throws underneath and gets almost half of it to Andre Fuller. Tackled by Brad Williams and Benny Gilbo.
Eddie Williamson, the offensive coordinator of Baylor, nice strategy here. Just try to get half of it back. It's which they did here, just a little delay route. Well thrown ball. If you give these wide receivers a chance to run after the catch, too, that was a little slowly developing, and they had some ability to make people miss. Eddie Williamson.
3rd down now and a dozen. Shotgun for Alfred. Flag down. Completes it to Darius Thompson, and Thompson is hit short of the first down. The flags fly again.
Dick, that's a good defensive strategy by Notre Dame. 3rd and 13 blitz, knowing you're going to get that slant adjustment. You're going to catch it for 5 or 6 yards. So 3rd and 13, they came with the blitz, side adjustment, completion, but short of the first down.
Another procedure call against Baylor now. Bob Davie has a call. Does he decline the penalty and bring up 4th down and 6?
Illegal formation, 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
That's twice.
Remains 3rd down.
And you need 7 men on the line of scrimmage. One of the most basic things in football. You see, I think he's off. He got one here, 2, 3, 4. I only see 5 there. There may be a wide receiver out this way. I only see 5 on the line of scrimmage, but you may be concerned that the left tackle, Greg German, is off the line.
Dave Roberts grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, 2-9 in his initial season down in Waco. He is about as nice a coach as I've ever encountered in 40 years. No wonder he's such an outstanding recruiter. He's such a pleasant man.
And he does recruit well. And he spends an awful lot of time so he could talk the wallpaper off the wall.
Many of these Notre Dame athletes are here because of Roberts' work. So 3rd and 17. Alfred down the middle. Simpkins from Kewanee, Illinois. And he has a first down inside the Notre Dame 35, a 20-yard play.
Garner Simpkins, one of these guys that really is underrated. I mean, you think about Anderson, you think about Thompson, the two talented wide receivers. But Garner Simpkins, you talk to their players, they say this is the most underrated player on our team. Finds a seam, makes a nice catch for the first.
He's playing for his father, who had open heart surgery up at Mayo Clinic this week, but he's back home in Kewanee, Illinois, watching today. There's the option, and Langway has trouble catching his balance and then gets hit hard by Bobby Howard, who leads the Irish in tackles this year.
These Notre Dame linebackers have played better and better, particularly the inside guys. Bobby Howard, Jimmy Friday played every single snap last week against Army. Kind of a modified option play out of a shotgun. But Bobby Howard has great range and then finishes tackles. I mean, when he hits you, you go backwards.
And Bobby Howard, Greg Madison, with his midterm grades, is the only player in defense he gave a solid A to. He said he's been consistent. Bad snap. Alfred is tackled back at the 50-yard line by Benny Gilbo. So Gilbo on a safety blitz couldn't have been more perfect. Bad snap, and it ran him right into the play.
Well, it was a high snap, Dick, but I thought it was one that Jermaine Alford probably should have handled. Joe Jackson, the center, kind of came up. It looked like he actually came quicker than he was anticipating. We can see clearly what Notre Dame's defensive strategy is to blitz, force the side adjustments.
And the other thing that becomes very apparent is why Baylor is 2-5. They just beat themselves.
Because they really do have some talent, particularly on defense.
They were in field goal range, but now they look at third down 26. They draw to Bush. Alfred one-hops it. Intended for Morris Anderson. Now the punting team comes on for Baylor, and they have one of the top punters in the country in Kyle Atterbury, who follows his brother Ty as the kicker for the Bears. He's averaging over 44 yards of punt and net nearly 41, third in the nation.
Had some trouble with the snaps this year, as Notre Dame has on punts.
Getherall, the deep man, at the 10. Beautiful high kick. And it bounces over Dossett's head. Dossett was down inside the 5. Had he been able to catch it, it would have been a terrific punt. As it stands, the Irish will begin at the 20. We'll be right back. Welcome back officially to South Bend, Indiana, as Dave Roberts' team only 9 yards after a good kickoff return. There's Lou Holtz and the 96 coaches. Bob Davie next to him, and Dave Roberts, the offensive and defensive coordinators under Coach Holtz. And here's the apples falling from the Holtz tree. Head coaches, including unbeaten Barry Alvarez at the University of Wisconsin. And often you measure the quality of a head coach by those assistants that go on to become head coaches themselves.
Ready, 1, 2.
So Notre Dame's first possession at their 20-yard line. Jarius Jackson goes to work out of the eye, and the toss to Audrey Denson. Denson running into his own blocker and is smothered at the 23-yard line. Here's the offensive lineup for the Irish. Pettigrew, Wisney, Morandi, Ritter, and Rosenthal, his 20th consecutive start. Rosenthal at right tackle. Jackson has Denson, the second leading rusher in Notre Dame history, with Jamie Spencer, the blocker. Brown awakening at wide receiver with Malcolm Johnson, who leads the team with 25 catches, and Jabari Holloway, certainly a big threat at tight end. Denson finding running room at the 35 to the 50 and out of bounds at the Baylor 44.
Well, Dick, coaches are great imitators. Remember, Army last week ran the counter off that wishbone, and that's what you're going to see here, the little counter play inside. They have not run that this year. Army hurt them badly with it last week. And Jim Coletto, the offensive coordinator, put the play in. It's also a good play against a blitzing, stunting kind of defense.
Well, that's the play the Cadets used so effectively with Bobby Williams last week.
grasping the face mask on the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So 32 yards on Denson's run and add 15 on the penalty.
Good ball handling, good opening call, and you know, we mentioned the face mask. Now is the 13th personal foul penalty against the Bears this year. We talked about them hurting themselves. There was a face mask at the end.
4th penalty already in this opening quarter for Baylor. First down, the Irish at the 29. Jackson tosses, fumble, and Baylor is recovered at the 32-yard line as McKinley Bowie falls on the loose ball.
Well, the Irish are determined to run the option play today. They feel like they're not getting enough out of it. And when you don't do it a lot, you risk these kind of plays. That was really well done by the Baylor defense, particularly Robert Neal, number 23, who kind of forced the pitch. And then 23 Neal actually makes the play on Denson. The 8th turnover of the year for Notre Dame, but good defensive play by Neal, followed by Bowie.
And for Audrey Denson, that's a rare occurrence for him to leave the ball on the ground. Credit Nelson with the forced fumble and Bowie with the recovery, and Baylor halts the Notre Dame drive at the 32-yard line. Only 3 fumbles lost in his career here. Keeper now by Odell James as the new quarterback of the Bears. The sophomore, highly regarded, was one of the most recruited young men out of high school, Aldine MacArthur High School in the Houston area, and Baylor felt they got a real gem in this young man. He's been somewhat slow in developing, but great tools.
Well, remember, Dave Roberts is generally a guy who likes to throw the ball. When he came, he had Odell James, a great option quarterback, and Jermaine Alford, who's kind of a mixed thrower and option guy, but they want to get Odell James in the option play.
Straight ahead goes freshman, a true freshman, Melvin Barnett for short yardage.
We said they used 2 different quarterbacks. Jermaine Alford started the last few weeks. Odell James won the job in spring, opened the season. He is the better runner, great speed at 4.6 for a quarterback, and as Dick mentioned, very, very highly thought of and recruited.
So James, who is 226 pounds, who rushed for 3,300 yards in high school and passed for 2,600 more and scored 78 touchdowns. They feel they got themselves a real big player at Waco, but Dave Roberts has to use an early timeout. Before becoming an All-Pro with the Chicago Bears, Mike Singletary led the Baylor Bears in the early 80s, establishing school records and tackles. Among other things, he shattered helmets, 16 of them. Singletary then played 12 seasons as the vocal leader of the NFL's best defense. And we will go to Mike Singletary, who was here to cheer for his alma mater. He's with Jim Gray, but first it's Baylor at the 36-yard line. 8:53 remaining in the opening quarter, and the Bears looking at 3rd down and 6. Officials have not marked play as yet. No score. Notre Dame moving quickly into Baylor territory early, but a rare Audrey Denson fumble, and the Bears recovering at their own 32-yard line to stop the drive. Odell James, the quarterback. And he has a first down across the 45-yard line. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you, Dick. Here is Mike Singletary, short drive down from Chicago. You spoke to the Baylor Bears. What did you say to your ex-team there, your alma mater?
Well, basically, just come out here and stay focused and don't get caught up in the tradition and go out there and have some fun, play football.
Now, you smashed 16 helmets when you played for Baylor. That's quite a record.
Now, I remember 9. I don't know where 16 came from, but no, I just think they were cheap helmets.
Now, everybody remembers you for your eyes and that stare and that look you used to give with the Bears, both the Chicago Bears and Baylor. Chris Mishaw, the middle linebacker, now practices your eyes in the mirror. Have you taught him that look?
No, I have not. As a matter of fact, I'd like to see that.
Well, we're going to show it to you in a little bit. Let me ask you, you probably have no problem with your kids. You got 7 of them. All you have to do is give them that look, and there's no discipline problems, is there?
I tell you what, I wish it was that easy. I really do.
You're a motivational speaker now. You close to the Baylor Bears? You close to the Chicago Bears? You still involved?
Well, from time to time I'll speak to them, but really I'm basically a corporate speaker and a consultant for a couple of companies.
Good to see you. Don't give me those eyes.
All right, well, thank you.
Back upstairs to you, Dick.
All right, Jim, the eyes of the heart of Texas, Waco and environs, watching these Baylor Bears, looking for a possible upset. Brad Williams denies Odell James on that play near midfield. Ball spotted at the Baylor 49 as we approach the midpoint of this opening quarter. Other scores around the country today. That Singletary, just to look at, it must have been tough for quarterbacks to set up under center and look across 3 yards away and see those eyes.
You would change your voice a few times. Look at him across the line of scrimmage.
Well, the 16 shattered helmets comes out of the Baylor media guy. Yeah. I guess that's historic, whatever. License, Nice play by Darrell Bush, the running back, to get to the Notre Dame 46 before Lance Legree, the tackle, trailing the play, is able to make the stop. Brings up 4th down and a long 2.5 for the Bears. Make it 3.
Yeah, too many 3rd and longs thus far for Baylor. Really, again, they have not been able to get into an offensive rhythm really this year, and certainly thus far this game.
Nice play, the fake to Bush, and then the throw to him. And a good cut. Here comes Kyle Atterbury to punt. His first, very nearly down inside the 5. Another beautiful punt. He's got his deep men down there. Can they stop it?
That's bad luck.
That's 2 inside the 5 that were catchable by his wingmen, who have great speed. Neither could get there. 46 yards on the punt, 26 net. The Irish at the 20 when we return. Baylor Pep Band here in South Bend, and many of the representation of the Baylor Bears. Their Pep Band is here, and we'd guess about 1,000 fans. There's their middle linebacker, Chris Mishaw, the 260-pound sophomore from Jersey Village. And he said he's been practicing those eyes, and when he heard that Singletary was going to be here, his eyes did get big.
He's only gone through 3 helmets, right?
Give to the fullback, Jamie Spencer, carrying tacklers with him for a 1st down across the 30-yard line. Cody and Chris Mishaw and others trying to stop the 245-pound Spencer from Monroe, Louisiana.
You know, I'm just really surprised that the Baylor defense is ranked 102nd in the NCAA. There's only 112 teams. They have some really good talent, and they present a lot of problems. They blitz about 75% of the time, and then when you get into 20, they blitz, almost 90% of the time, and they've got very good athletes. It's hard to get into an offensive rhythm against this Baylor Bear defense.
Both wide receivers to the left on 1st down for Notre Dame. Jackson gives to Denson. All the way to the Baylor 46-yard line. Gary Baxter finally drags him down along with Rodney Smith.
Audrey Denson is a great draw runner. I mean, they're going to invite this defensive Baylor up the field. You just kind of push him out of the way. You give the ball deep to Audrey Denson and let him find a hole. I mean, again, an attacking, penetrating defense. You like to run the draw play. And this is Denson's actually best type of run. Just get the ball deep to him, let him pick his own hole.
Well, the last 3 games, Denson has been frustrated, not quite able to run for 100 yards. He has 57 already here in the 1st quarter. Fullback Spencer denied. Stopped at the 45, a gain of 1. Dwight Johnson, the 276-pound junior from Waco, Texas. Hometown grown, made the stop.
The guy's here with a lot of guts, isn't he? Playing with a lot of guts. We have to all put those underneath their plane seats on the way back to Waco.
Tuba guys have a real problem.
Oh, I hate
when I sit next to a tuba player.
Middle seat, oh man, that's bad.
2nd down and 9. Denson. Good job by Denson of waiting for the blast.
Audrey Denson.
1st down at the 33-yard line. Rodney Smith, the leading tackler for the Bears, gets another.
Yeah, watch the lead block, too, by 33, Jamie Spencer. He's the fullback. I mean, anytime you have an I team and your I back is getting a lot of yardage, it generally means your fullback is doing a good job in the lead blocks. Got in the way of Mishaw, and then another determined run by Audrey Denson. Here's the lead block. And again, this wasn't an overpowering block on Mishaw, but Mishaw got tied up in delivering the hit, and Audrey Denson went right by him.
1st down at the Baylor 33. No score, 1st quarter. Spencer inside and throws forward for a couple.
See, when you lead block, you give him a bone every once in a while, let him carry it as well, Dick. See?
Not a bad thought.
Yeah.
Jamie Spencer, who has rushed for 150 yards for the season and 1 touchdown. He is a psychology major, a senior. Monroe, Louisiana. The Irish are well funded with Texas stars. 14 players on the roster from the Lone Star State. That's more than any other state. So they've got something going for them playing a Texas school. Denson. He not from Texas, but from Lauderhill, Florida.
And recruited by Dave Roberts. You mentioned Dave Roberts being a great recruiter. He was at Notre Dame. Was very involved in recruiting Audrey Denson and Bobby Brown. And he just got away about it. You know, he's an honest guy. He's an enthusiastic guy. They have services that rate recruiters. He's been rated the #1 recruiter several times. And he's got a good young team at Baylor that's on the rise.
Notre Dame unable to get the play off, and they spend a timeout here in the opening quarter. There's 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the first period. Baylor, Notre Dame, no score. That Aiden's favorite instrument.
You know, the tuba. It's not one of those, it's like nose tackle. You don't choose to play the tuba. You know, you want to be a horn guy or a violinist, or whatever. Somebody said, no, you can play the tuba.
You never hear virtuoso tuba.
No. You have to have the big body to be able to carry that thing around.
Well, Audrey Denson is on the sidelines on 3rd down and 3, and Joey Goodspeed is the lone running back behind Jarius Jackson. And now look at this, the movement together all in brown as they go triple left. Jackson throwing. The first down at the 20. Cody made the stop.
That is a nice play and a design play by Jim Coletto, the offensive coordinator. Again, you shift everybody off, trying to get this here, and you're going to pick him out here in the flat. Now remember, they're trying to just take away some of that incredible aggressiveness away from this team. It's like a pick play. When you go man-for-man coverage, it's not a bad call. You run crossing routes, you run flat routes. He just kind of took a little delay step, out in the flat, well-thrown ball by Jackson.
Give the Goodspeed, and Goodspeed on first down has about 3.
Think about this Notre Dame team as this year has gone along. It is an improving team, and they've got different guys contributing as the year has gone on. Dick, remember we saw him against Michigan. It was just Audrey Denson at the beginning of the year, and then Jarius Jackson kind of came on, and he performed well the next couple of games. And they got the tight end involved and the wide receivers. So this is a much more complete offense that we saw 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Now they come out in almost a wishbone look with Goodspeed at fullback. And there's the counter again. And Denson, good hit by Rodney Smith.
Jensen.
The 220-pound safety from Waco. He also played basketball a couple of years ago, was a 19-game starter, and his teammates say he is their biggest hitter.
Yeah, both of these safeties are really good hitters. Rodney Smith, number 14, had a real good game against Texas last week. An interception caused a fumble. And again, he is a hitter. I mean, a guy who can run, but still at 220 pounds can deliver a low. There's the blitz we talk about. Nishaw, number 45, blitzing. They blitz this area of the field. Inside the 20, they blitz 90% of the time.
There's Smith. Interception, 39 yards for a touchdown against the Longhorns last week. It's 3rd down and 5. Jackson, plenty of time. Wide open, incomplete. Dan O'Leary, the tight end, was alone in the end zone. The closest defender was that wire that tripped him up.
Well, when you're going to blitz, you have to be able to put more pressure on the quarterback. It was Tim Ritter, number 70, who kind of kicked Nishaw out of the way, and just a little too tall for Dan O'Leary.
So on comes Jim Sanson out of Hunter Smith's hole to try a 32-yard field goal. Sanson with a 48-yarder a week ago. As you see again, O'Leary just fingertips short.
Baylor's pretty good blocking kicks.
And Sanson drives it through, and Notre Dame takes the early lead, 3-0, with 1:37 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Irish 3, the Bears 0. returns. This was supposed to have been Duke, and the Blue Devils a couple of years ago decided not to play the game, and Baylor was available, and the Bears get their chance to visit this storied environment. 3-0. The Irish lead on Sanson's 32-yard field goal. Irish going 65 yards in 11 plays. Elijah Perkins waits. Short end over end this time. One of the upbacks at the 16. It's Audrey Fuller. And Fuller pounded at the 28-yard line. A reminder to go in depth on the Irish at MSNBCSports.com. Special section. NBC's Notre Dame offers comprehensive coverage with audio video features of the team's stars plus Pat Hayden Cyberscope after today's game. Listen to player interviews on the Irish locker room report. It's all at MSNBCSports.com. I failed Cyberscope, right?
Yeah, you know, we checked all the hits on our thing. You have not touched base yet. You have not really. Come on.
Well, you know, maybe you're not looking closely. Taylor for a couple to the 29. Darrell Bush as Jermaine Alfred returns at quarterback for the Bears as we approach the final minute of this opening quarter.
Well, you think with two different quarterbacks rotating, you get two really different types of players. You know, Jermaine Alfred's supposed to be the better thrower. Odell James really the better runner. But they really haven't been able to get a lot of big plays out of their passing game. And the option game, for the most part, has been shut down.
O'Briani, the tight end to the right. Alfred breaking tackles, but another wave hits him, and it was finally Ty Good, the cornerback, along with Anthony Weaver, to bring him down.
You know, it's really played well the last couple of games for Notre Dame. 77, Brad Williams, the guy that Bob Davies said he has got to play better for us, and he puts a good rush there along with Lance Legree, an inside blitz as well as a corner blitz. So Notre Dame is returning the favor in blitzing this Baylor offensive team, just like Baylor blitzes all the time.
Brad Williams, the only returning regular on the defensive line from a year ago. That was the 14th sack of the year for the Irish. Third and long. The Lagway. One miss, two miss. Still on his feet. Pounds his way to the sidelines. And Gilbo finally got him out of bounds just shy of the first down. And that's the Lagway that has terrorized opponents earlier this year.
The problem for Baylor thus far, Dick, is they've just been in way too many third and longs. And this was a 3rd and 11 situation for them. And when you throw the ball 5 yards, you're going to have to bring out the punt team. But you give a guy like Derek Lagway a chance because at 235 pounds, he's got strength, and you saw some maneuverability there as well.
4th down and 1, so on comes Atterbury again, his 3rd punt of this opening quarter. This the shorter kick for him as Getherall takes it in and is dropped immediately at the 26-yard line by Martin Dossett. 38-yard punt, no return, and the Irish will take over at the 26. That is the end of the opening quarter. Notre Dame 3, Baylor nothing. We'll return after these words from your local station. While we were away, head coach Bob Davie with his defensive coordinator Greg Madison. Madison, who says he just doesn't want to be upstairs. He feels it's too frustrating out there. He recited an incident, where was it, Texas A&M, where he saw an opponent quickly getting on the field while his team was huddling, and they ran off a quick touchdown play, and he said, I was up there scratching at the window like a big cat. No one would hear me.
Yeah, he's one of the few defensive coordinators that not only stands at the sideline but actually calls the defenses from there. You know, you get some help from upstairs, but he's making the calls right there from the sideline and signals them in himself.
Notre Dame goes on offense now at the 26-yard line, leading 3-0, opening the second quarter. Jackson keeps. There's the speed of the Baylor defense surrounding him and blocking him for a yard loss. Rodney Smith again from his safety spot, and Gary Baxter, a cornerback, with a stop.
I saw number 12, Tony Fisher, the freshman tailback, making a nice, real nice block on Fred Rogers, number 53, and Fred saying, don't come into my neighborhood. You're not allowed to use my neighborhood.
Bruce that sweater that he wears. The only player in college football that wears a sweater while he plays, that Fred Rogers.
But Tony Fisher is a guy. Number 12 is a player that Jim Coletto and Bob Davie, he's the guy back here now. They think that this guy is going to be a very, very special halfback for him.
He gets his first carry today. It's Fisher out to the 34-yard line, and another flag. Looks like a face mask against Rodney Smith, and that'll give Notre Dame a first down, whether it's 5 or 15. Personal foul, so it's 15 yards.
Fisher, Mr. Ohio, 1997. Pretty good list there, Dick, including Mark Edwards, who was with the Irish
Personal
a few years
foul,
ago.
grasping the face mask on the defense. 15 yards, first down.
Love to see those guys in the swimsuit, part of that
Competition.
Yeah.
There's Fisher, and they do feel that he is a star of the Notre Dame future as we go back to the last play and the face mask against Rodney Smith.
Yep. Again, that is now the 14th personal foul against Baylor's defense this season.
And 45 yards for Baylor to 0 for Notre Dame on penalties here in the opening half. First down, Irish at their 47. And it's Fisher again, hit down low and falls forward maybe for a yard as Jason Larry, sophomore from Amarillo, a walk-on linebacker, makes the tackle.
He's one of those great stories of Baylor. You mentioned him being a walk-on, kind of fought his way on the team as a special teams player, kind of contributed that way, and has worked himself in the rotation. And they do have quite a rotation. 24 different players will play a lot on defense for Baylor.
No gain, 2nd and 10. The option. Jackson keeps it and crosses midfield to the Baylor 47-yard line, and that'll bring up about 3rd and 5. Clifton Rubin, the tackler for Baylor.
And you see they're going to play 9 different defensive linemen, 8 linebackers, 7 different defensive backs, and again, because they're running around so much, they're blitzing. They want to keep guys fresh in the 4th quarter. And there is Mike Cassidy, the defensive coordinator. Again, their statistics don't show, I think, the kind of talent they have. They have some really good players, and particularly Gary Baxter, one of their corners, the guy who does not come out. He's the guy down here.
And the man far right is Getherall, who has a lot of speed, and they'd like to isolate him on man coverage as Jackson looking downfield throws up. Malcolm Johnson, first down at the 41. That was another Rodney Smith hit, but Johnson has his 26th catch of the year and an Irish first down.
Yeah, Malcolm Johnson, when you know you're going to come over here in linebacker territory, you're going to get hit. But Malcolm Johnson, as we've talked about, is a big target. He's over 215 pounds. You know, you're in linebacker territory. You know you're going to take some shots, so you gather the ball in your chest as quickly as you can and prepare yourself. He did that well last week also.
Came to Notre Dame as a 16-year-old freshman. Give inside to Jamie Spencer, the fullback, and he's to the 35 and more as Notre Dame pounding inside. Sean Armistead, number 21, in at safety with the tackle.
Bob Davie knows exactly the kind of team he has. It is not a overpowering team. It is a methodical offensive team that makes few mistakes, but has to play at it's near its best every week to win.
Javen Hunter in along with Jay Johnson at wide receiver. Notre Denson replaces Fisher, and Denson gets the call straight ahead and close to a first down at the Baylor 32-yard line. Rogers and company make the tackle.
Fred Rogers, number 53, the linebacker for Baylor. You can't miss him. You know, a guy 261 pounds. A guy, a JC transfer, is just beginning to become accustomed to their defense. And Audrey Denson, his career numbers, hopes this year to become their leading rusher, surpass Alan Pinkett.
And they allow forward progress on the last carry only to the 33-yard line, so it's still 3rd and 2. Denson with a big half. Denson, throw back to Jackson, intercepted, and that's going to go for a touchdown unless Denson can stop him. It's Baxter, Gary Baxter, and Denson does save the score at the 9-yard line. An ill-advised throw by Denson right into the arms of Baxter, who has his 2nd pick of the year.
Yeah, Back-to-back weeks, we talked about Gary Baxter is the only defensive player that does not rotate. And he's matched up a lot of times with Malcolm Johnson, was not fooled. I think they were expecting man-for-man coverage. He stayed right at home. A poor throw allowed Baxter to make the interception easily. But I want to tell you, that is a hustling play by Audrey Denson. Now, you don't know whether the Notre Dame defense is going to hold up here, but if they do, you can thank Audrey Denson for saving a touchdown. Even though it's just really a poor decision there.
First and goal for Baylor at the 9-yard line. Perkins inside the 5 to the 4, and Deke Cooper made this tackle for Notre Dame.
Perkins is kind of their touchdown guy, isn't he?
He scored 4 times this year, and all on basically the same play where he lines up right and runs left.
Yeah, well, that's only his 14th carry of the year, and as you mentioned, 4 of those were touchdowns, and they have been awfully good. Baylor's been awfully good when they've gotten the ball down in this area of the field.
Only one fumble to stop them from scoring in their 13 tries. Simpkins way out to the left, the wide receiver, second and goal. And he burrows to the 1-yard line. Bobby Howard, and plenty of help for Notre Dame to deny the score. And here come 4 more Irish onto the field.
UTEC. Tario Harrison, number 51, kind of misses him. Then once again, old dependable Bobby Howard slows him down enough to get some help from his teammates.
3-0 Notre Dame with 10 minutes left in this opening half, and 1 yard away from a go-ahead touchdown. The underdog Baylor Bears. They come out in a wishbone look. They fake to Perkins. The throw. Incomplete. Don Arroyo, the backup tight end, wide open, and Alfred drilled the ball. All he had to do was feather it in there for a touchdown.
You know, isn't it amazing? Jarius Jackson was saying that man, Dave Roberts, taught him how to throw with some touch when he was here. And this one, the tight end 88 was so wide open down here, and he just threw it way too hard. Kind of rushed himself, and that should have easily been a touchdown. Easily.
Instead, the barefooted place kicker for the Bears, Matt Bryant, will try a very short. This is shorter than an extra point. Be a 12-yard, make that a 17-yard field goal. Boy, does he have a leg. That one was like a mortar shot going through. It's tied at 3, but not a happy 3 for Baylor. Dave Roberts thought he had a chance to take the lead. Among the leaves on the campus of Notre Dame on this Halloween day, Gary Baxter's 59-yard interception return is 3rd this season, getting Baylor a first and goal, but the Bears stopped at the 1-yard line, settled for the short field goal. It's 3-3. Notre Dame very protective of the football this year. It's been rare for them. 2 turnovers in the opening half. Matt Bryant to kick. Tony Driver at the Notre Dame goal line. High end over end to the 2. And does not make it to the 20. Good coverage by the Bears, who have been outstanding in that regard in covering punts and kickoffs this year.
Go back to that touchdown. Remember, Dick, you were saying this was their favorite play before for the touchdown, but watch here. This is Don Arroyo, just kind of fakes, falls on his knee, and then his job is to delay, get in the end zone, and he is so wide open that what should have been a Baylor Bear touchdown, a little too hard, too much juice on the ball by Jermaine Alfred. That should have been an easy score for the Bears.
So Notre Dame in a 3-all tie with 9:35 opening half. Start from the 18-yard line. Jackson turns to say something to Goodspeed and Denson behind him. Denson into the clear for a moment, and the last Baylor tackler drags him down. Cody, strong hands to grab him by the jersey, or Denson was gone to the house.
Yeah, again, another one of those draw plays, Dick, and if you can get past the initial wave of guys coming up field, and you get past those linebackers, good lead block by Goodspeed, you have a chance for a big run. Saving tackle by Cody. But the offensive line is, again, inviting those defensive linemen upfield. The lead back is picking off a linebacker, creating some lanes.
93 yards now for Denson in this first half. Jackson keeps. And that battles for a 4-yard pickup to the 39-yard line. Cody, the safety, makes the stop.
Yeah, 94 rushing yards and no passing yards for Audrey Denson. I don't think we're going to see him throw the ball a lot more this half.
Collegiate passing career may have ended today.
Yeah, but what a career he has had at Notre Dame. See his average today. One of the more determined runners in college football.
His 162 yards in the opener against Michigan was his best ever, but he's on pace to break that, as you see, just a few yards away from his 20th 100-yard game. And he can't even right here as he dives for a first down to the 45-yard line. Cody again, the safety, with a stop. Audrey Denson, big Raider fan and Walter Payton fan, is at 99 yards today.
You just wouldn't give that extra yard, would you, Dick, to get into that 100-yard?
Yeah.
Just you're tough.
It's building the dramatic effect.
You're tough. Yeah.
Give to the fullback, good speed, and he is stopped after a gain of 2, maybe 3. As he's pinched down by Clifton Rubin. Now there's a young man with his credentials are amazing. He played fullback for Baylor, scored 15 touchdowns, moved him to linebacker. In Louisiana, he was the state high school champion in javelin, shot put, and discus. He has body fat 3.9%. The cousin of Shanda Rubin, the fine tennis player on the women's tour.
Well, if you move that decimal over 1 to the right, you'd have my body fat. But boy, is he
down
quick.
to 39%.
Is he quick off the corner? He is really quick off the corner.
Second down, give to Denson. Now I'll give him 100. And Cody wrestles him down again at the 35-yard line of Baylor. So Audrey Denson well over the century mark in this opening half, now with 117 yards.
And give the Irish offensive linemen some credit. I mean, they're doing a real good job. Morandi, number 64 there. Again, another lead block by Joey Goodspeed, the fullback. Jabari Holloway, the tight end. Yeah, well, Ricky Williams last week had 259 yards rushing, but you know the Baylor Bear defense bottled him up really until the fourth quarter, and so but this game is a little different complexion. Audrey Denson's getting to him in the first half.
First down at the Baylor 35. It's tied at 3, midpoint, second quarter. Denson stop for a short gain, maybe no gain at the Baylor 35-yard line. And Cody again, has he been busy? Smith and Cody, the two safeties for Baylor, making the majority of the tackles.
Nakia Cody is the guy number 8, 2-year starter, runs track, but pulled his hamstring last spring running track, and really just starting to get healthy. And you know, a kind of guy that can make a lot of plays, cover a lot of ground, and a good tackling free safety.
Second and 10 for the Irish.
Good matchup down here. These two guys. They're going to be matched up all day.
Here comes Jackson. And he's still on his feet. And has the first down at the 21-yard line. A big swarm of players, and Jarius Jackson using, he says, is not 220 but 227 pounds to fight his way for a first down.
Yeah, he just doesn't masquerade as a little quarterback. He is a big, strong runner. And you see number 70, Tim Ritter, out there in front. Again, the lead block by the fullback. Malcolm Johnson, the wide receiver. He and Gary Baxter going at one another. We talk about Audrey Denson being a determined runner. A very determined run by Jarius Jackson that time.
25 yards today, a total of 39 for the game. Ball just shy of the 20-yard line. First down, Notre Dame. 6.5 minutes left in the opening half. 173 yards rushing for Notre Dame's offense in this first half. And yet it's only 3-all because of a fumble by Denson and a pass interception that almost led to a Baylor touchdown, a 59-yard return. Jackson. Going to count. Nakia Cody comes down with it, but I believe they're going to call interference against Baylor.
And this Nakia Cody does cover ground.
6'3" and great leaper.
Great speed. I saw him in a couple of good tackles earlier in the game, Dick, and that time just played the ball beautifully.
Yeah, long meeting. Maybe there was a push on the offense. Nope, it goes against Baylor. So the Bears continue to be ticketed for punishing penalty yardage. Instead of the turnover, it'll be a first down for Notre Dame.
Holding on the defense on a forward pass across the line of scrimmage, 10 yards from the previous spot, and that's an automatic first down.
Well, the Irish have been awfully good inside the 20 this year. We talked already about how good down here, how good Baylor has been. The Irish really should be a very good. There's the hold right down there. Yeah, he was absolutely held.
Yeah, Robert Neal got the jersey.
They should be a better play action team than they are as well as they run the ball.
Ball just shy of the 10, so they could make a first down without a touchdown. Good speed for 2.
Good speed.
I just want to remind ourselves too. Remember that play of Audrey Denson when he after he threw the interception. Baylor only turned that into 3 points, so that could turn out to be a very pivotal play by Audrey Denson.
4-point tackle.
Absolutely.
On comes Johnson and Holloway, the tight end. I'd go Getherall and Malcolm Johnson. Inside the 10-yard line. Last year, only 13 of 18, 22 of 23 inside the 20 this year in the red zone. Fighting to the 1-yard line. Audrey, Jensen, Nakia Cody, and Rodney Smith collaborate again on the tackle.
These wide receivers of Notre Dame block. That time Bobby Brown, number 88, comes down, and you can see him up here at the top. Come down and block on a linebacker. And later on, you're going to see Bobby Brown fake that and maybe go deep. But he just keeps those legs churning, and good things generally happen to your team when that happens.
3rd down and 1 for the Irish as Holloway and O'Leary, 2 tight ends.
Look who's here. That's a guard. That's Mike Gandy, number 69, in their elephant backfield.
Denson, touchdown, Denson keeps his streak alive. He scored in every game this year and has 10 for the season.
See big old Mike Gandy, number 69, came in as their what they call their elephant backfield at fullback, and 294 pounds, led the way for the touchdown for Audrey Denson.
Try for point by Sanson. And the Irish lead Baylor 10-3.
Well, here he is. Well, watch him clear out. You don't see him in a stance back that far often. Normally a guard on Fred Rogers kind of buckles him, allows Denson to be able to get airborne to get in the end zone. So a good lead block, a good drive by the Irish, gives them a 7-point lead.
5 minutes, 10 plays, 82 yards. Denson for the score. Back at Notre Dame, 10-3. While we were away, Jarius Jackson getting a little adjustment. Jim Gray.
Well, Dick, on that long run where he was kind of taking the whole Baylor defense with him, he got his neck twisted as he went down. He came over, got a little chiropractic adjustment by the training staff over here. Jarius says he's all right. He's going to continue in the game, but it's bothering him, his neck, just a little bit. Dick?
All right, Jarius seems to be okay. Meanwhile, things aren't all right on the Baylor sideline. Thought they had an interception to stop that Notre Dame drive, but another penalty by Baylor. 53 yards in penalties to 0 for Notre Dame in this half, and that's playing havoc on Dave Roberts' hopes for an upset. It's 10-3 Notre Dame with 4:47 left in the half. Perkins deep for Baylor. Hunter Smith. Good kick down to the 3. And Perkins stopped at the 21-yard line. Well, the Irish, certainly the signature of this Notre Dame offense this year is the long scoring drive. As we said at the start today, not many home runs, but singles and doubles, and there's another case in point.
Well, that's the 8th play over 80 yards, or 8th drive over 80 yards for them, and the Rose Bowl parade is shorter. Some of these drives, they have really been methodical, and you know, credit that really, I think, to offensive linemen and the real tough running of Audrey Denson.
Jermaine Alfred at quarterback. Bam! He hits his tight end this time, and O'Briati has a first down out at the 31. And boy, you better be ready when Alfred throws the ball. It doesn't matter if you're 3 yards from him or 30 yards.
They're going to have to surgically remove this ball from his chest, but it was a well-thrown ball by Alfred. His job is to get it there. The tight end's job is to catch it. And again, he got his big body in front of it to slow it down, then secured the ball. Look how many blue jerseys, though, were around the tight end after the catch. This Notre Dame defense is hustling, and that's why they've caused so many turnovers this year.
Tight end O'Briati's second catch of the year. First down across the 31 with 4:14 left in the half. Wrong way to Bush. Breaking tackles out to the 41. A gain of about 10 before Sanders and Cooper, two Notre Dame safeties, can drag him down.
Well, a bit surprised we're not seeing more of Derek Lagway at I-back, but Darrell Bush makes a very nice run here. A capable guy, had 133 yards against Kansas early in the year. Look at his eyes. Very good in a quick area, in a short area. Made Tony Driver miss. And then a Johnny Sanders comes over number 5 to make the tackle. But Darrell Bush, a very quick runner.
Rushed for 693 yards as a freshman last year. That was a Baylor freshman record. Not quite a first down. It's 2nd and 1. Notre Dame has outrushed the Bears today. 6.8 yard average for the Irish, and Alfred uses his second timeout of this opening half. 3:29 remaining before the intermission. The Irish by 7.
Welcome back to South Bend. Well, a tradition here at Notre Dame is for them to touch up their helmets, paint them, make them look all nice and shiny before they hit the field for game time. Well, they have that same tradition that goes on for Baylor. In fact, the helmets are very similar, except for there's a BU on Baylor's helmet. But here's the bit of an irony. Baylor uses ND, Notre Dame gold, to touch up their helmets. I wonder if Notre Dame uses Baylor gold, Dick.
Well, that's the work of art there. Notre Dame gold. On 2nd and 1, the throw is the left way. Oh, what a good tackle by Lamont Bryant. Lamont Bryant with immediate hit. It's going to be a Baylor first down, I believe, out at the 42-yard line. And is.
Lamont Bryant, number 53, got his first start this year last week against Army, and certainly responded and played very, very well. And it's one of the things about these guys, you know, they're getting a lot better play out of their defensive linemen this part of the year than they did earlier in the year.
He's going to need one of those defoggers on that helmet, though. He's fogging up.
Or a wiper or something.
3:05 left in the first half. Draw play. Bush.
Darrell Bush on the
45 to the 47-yard. Howard makes the tackle, and a gain of nearly 5 for Darrell Bush.
Yeah, for the Bears to win this ball game, they are going to have to find a way to run this football. I mean, they're trying to do that now. Only 76 yards rushing last week against Texas, and Dave Roberts realizes they have to be able to get that running game going, and Darrell Bush has had some success on this drive.
Lagway and Bush behind Jermaine Alfred, the quarterback. Alfred to the sidelines. What a catch by Darius Thompson. Thompson, the 6'2", 211-pound senior from Cedar Hill, Texas. A 23-yard play.
You know, I saw Jermaine Alfred practicing this throw before the game, this fade route. Are they bringing this back? Looks like they're bringing it back.
Catch made there.
No, they're saying he didn't come down inbounds.
The tackle, and so that was a terrific hit by a Johnny Sanders. The official saying he was juggling the ball. That's the motion, right hand, left hand. Doesn't look like he's juggling it there. Well, yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, the official was there. Was hustling a Johnny Sanders gets there. It looked like, though, to me, he came down with that foot in. I thought that was a completion.
Well, Dave Roberts, it's his officiating crew from his conference. And they haven't gotten a break yet, the Bears. 3rd down and 5. Throw the line, Nice hit short of the first down at the 48-yard line by Bobby Howard. Howard again makes the tackle.
When Bobby Howard hits you, you go down. Have you noticed that? I mean, there's no kind of glancing off of Bobby Howard. I mean, he's the kind of guy that you're going to go backwards, too. Well scouted, Derek Laglow.
Timeout Notre Dame. They've got plenty of time to add to that 10-3 lead. All right, Dan.
You as well, yeah. Let's go back to that one play. I think this is a catch by Thompson. Watch it, Thompson, number 13. Watch his, I believe it was his left foot come down right there. He possesses it, then he's hit. That should have been a catch, and I think there was some confusion by the official. They were looking at each other, maybe hoping someone else would see it. There's the possession, left foot down. That should have been a catch and a first down for the Bears.
Dave Roberts had the same view the official had, who called it no catch. And so now 4th down and 4 from the Baylor 48, and Kyle Atterbury to punt with 10 Notre Dame players up on the line of scrimmage and Getherall back at the 10. And the Baylor penalty total will climb. That was Kenyatta Parker. Getherall never called for the fair catch, and they didn't give him a chance to field the ball.
Yeah, Kenyatta Parker. You know, Joey Getherall, I don't think I've seen him signal for a fair catch yet this year. Have you?
The son of a Los Angeles Police Department detective, 29 years on the force.
Really a courageous guy. Sometimes, you know, it's like lemmings off a cliff, sometimes returning punts.
The opportunity to catch the kick, contact, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, what's that? Is that 3 15-yard penalties so far today against the Bears, which makes
up to 68 yards total on 7.
Oh, man. It gives them reasonably good field position with 2:05 remaining. There's the penalties. That again, this is this is a well-coached team, Notre Dame. They had 2 turnovers today, but generally they're not turning the ball over. They don't make a lot of mistakes, and they force you to go the distance against them defensively.
Would you look at other scores? 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in the half. Plenty of time for Notre Dame. And Jensen breaks into the clear. Rodney Smith by the jersey denies the touchdown all the way to the 31-yard line. Mishaw came back to help out Smith.
Did he put a move on Nakia Cody? I mean, that was really fun to watch.
38 yards more for Denson. What a half for him from the 31 to the 31.
And Dick, it's that draw lead block by Jamie Spencer. What's the move here? That's the move he put there on Cody, who was a sure tackler. And then carries Rodney Smith, another sure tackler, another 8 yards. Heck of a run.
10-3 Notre Dame trying to get more just before the half. Denson, he might have been inspired by a couple of things. One, he created 2 turnovers in this half. That's so uncharacteristic. He fumbled the ball, he threw an interception. He did make up for that by making a saving tackle that denied a touchdown on the interception return. And there is another motivation going today. Early in the game, Bob Davie used Sonny Fisher at tailback, the young freshman. The throw back for Johnson. Jackson to Johnson. The 6'5" Malcolm Johnson has his 4th touchdown of the season.
Great call, great throw, terrific adjustment by Malcolm Johnson. Again, that game within a game, you know, the battle, Malcolm Johnson and Gary Baxter, the outstanding quarterback for Baylor. You throw it up, let Malcolm Johnson out jump him.
Try for point by Jim Sanson. And Notre Dame boosts its lead to 17-3 with 1:11 left in the half.
This is just one-on-one basketball. And again, Gary Baxter has got Malcolm Johnson all day, all over the field. Now, he's already intercepted 1 pass today, but Johnson uses his strength to get off the line of scrimmage first. And then Jarius Jackson does a good thing. He underthrows the ball and here's the matchup up here. Underthrows the ball, realizes Johnson at 6'5", has the height advantage. and lets him adjust to the ball, which he does so well. I tell you, this is, we said, hey, they haven't had many dramatic plays this year. It wasn't a long touchdown pass, but nonetheless a very efficient touchdown pass to Malcolm Johnson.
Johnson celebrating his 4th touchdown of the season. Of course, he recovered Brown's fumble in the end zone last week against Army. 3 plays, 69 yards. Took the Irish only 54 seconds to score. And Denson already in a half has set his career best game, 169 yards for Audrey Denson.
But Dave Roberts has a complaint, and I think a legitimate one. Darius Thompson, that catch was ruled an incomplete pass, and in turn, Notre Dame turns that back into a touchdown. So
could be a 2-touchdown swing.
Absolutely.
Elijah Birkins, Speedy Jr. deep for the Bears of Baylor. Check that. It was Ron Israel, the sophomore, whose brother Steve has played in the NFL for many seasons. Audrey Denson, second on Notre Dame's career list of 100 yards rushing games, now with 20. His third this year. This one against Michigan, 162 yards in the opener, and then 143 yards in that comeback win against Purdue. But has set a new personal high already today in the first half. 169 yards.
Yeah, you're right. I think as soon as Tony Fisher came in, he went up to the coach, tucked at his shoulders, and let me back in, coach.
Out of the shotgun. Almost intercepted by Corey Minor, who drifted back from the line of scrimmage in front of Darius Thompson.
Remember, Greg Madison, defensive coordinator, said, hey, Corey Minor is going to have a great day today. You know, it's a guy that's really been struggling right here, number 4, struggling with injuries this year. Hasn't really been healthy since their opener against Michigan.
Sideline warning. Notre Dame, sideline warning.
Well, Notre Dame gets a sideline, as you heard, warning. The flag went down.
It's a lot of Irish players at home. The walk-ons get to suit up, and there really isn't much room to see the action unless you spread out.
There's a few guys down there. The Subway alumni are there on the sideline as well.
2nd and 10. Handed off to Lagway. Ouch. Lagway into Benny Gilbo, and carries Gilbo forward a couple of yards to the 25, close to a first down.
Benny Gilbo got about 235 pounds of Lagway right in the chest.
Well, with Baylor down by 2 touchdowns, we're in the final minute of this first half. Lagway again out to the 30. Stop the clock. Lamar Bryant makes the tackle. 27 seconds left in the half.
You know, with this kind of field position, again, I think Dave Roberts takes a chance. I mean, you're down 17-3. You've got really athletic wide receivers. Throw it up. They got some guys, and give them a chance to come down with it.
Well, on this day for trick or treat, it's with the penalties. It's been the door knocks, and Baylor opens it and slams it on their own hand.
Nice Halloween tie, by the way, you're wearing today. Is that a clip-on? Huh?
I'm not going to tell you. Body slam tackle by Lamont Bryant as Alfred goes down, and with it, probably the final play of this opening half. 2-1, and Notre Dame leads the field with a 17-3 halftime lead. Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Dick. I'm with Bob Davie. Bob, 2 turnovers, 169 yards rushing. How would you assess the first half for Audrey Denson?
Well, it was an excellent first half for Audrey Denson. The unfortunate thing, we squandered away 2 scoring opportunities. We fumbled the option. which has been a concern for us. Then we actually had a play we didn't call. We got screwed up on a wristband call on the throwback to the quarterback on 3rd down and 4. They intercepted the ball. So we've moved the ball. We've played well on defense. We just should have more points on the board. Anytime you're in that situation, it makes you nervous when you haven't taken advantage of your opportunities.
Bob, good luck in the second half.
Thank you, Jim.
5 in a row, and the Irish will get it first here in the second half. Matt Bryant's kickoff to the side. Tony Bryant. Cody makes yet another tackle. 22 on the return as we check the first half numbers.
They really dominated by Notre Dame in the rush. 228 yards in that first half. I mean, we said 168 of those by Audrey. Denson. Turnovers, a surprise. Notre Dame had 2. They only came into the game with 7, but really the Bears were not really able to do much with those 2 turnovers.
Derek Lagway only 17 yards of rushing. Denson with a career 168.
I'm surprised he's only had 5 rushes though.
And Jensen gets to him first. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you, Dick. I spoke to Dave Roberts, the Baylor coach. He said it's just the ghosts of Notre Dame that have got us. He said we missed an awful lot of opportunities. Hopefully we'll play better in the second half. He said I really wasn't able to devise a way to stop Audrey Denson during halftime. We're going to try and mix things up a little bit. Hopefully we will be able to slow him down. And finally he said it was definitely a catch. It does, he feels, change the complexion of this game, but he says our team just has to rebound. Dick, up to you.
All right, the mild-mannered coach of the Baylor Bears certainly upset by what was a critical call. On the second down. Fake to Denson. Touchdown of the season. Bobby Brown and Jackson have finally hit that elusive home run. 66 yards. Bobby Brown said that he wanted to do something big today. His sister Joy says, the joy of my life is 25 years old. Her birthday is yesterday. Distance present from younger brother Bobby.
And it's funny, we said at the very beginning of this broadcast, penalty marked off against Notre Dame.
Warning conduct.
Celebration.
Yep. After the play, 15-yard penalty.
One of those silly celebration penalties that they impose.
Well, it's the anti-meism rule, and many applaud that.
I'll tell you what, though, Bob Davie last week gave away 2 game balls after they played against Army.
Yeah.
One to Jim Sanson, the kicker, kicked the thing, and Jonathan Aber, a special teams player, walk-on, and he had to give away the NCAA.
35 yards, right after the
attempt. You got the game ball, and then you got to take it back.
The extra point, and it's 24-3.
Okay, we talked about man-for-man coverage that Baylor likes to run all day. Good protection, allowed us a little stutter step there by Bobby Brown. Clear, easy lead there on Robert Neal, and then just kind of cuts across them to be able to run away from him 66 yards later.
You saw that long stride of Brown. He was second in the Big East in the 400 meters, and he kicked it into touchdown overdrive. Vegas team leads by 21. Lights on this late gray, foggy day in northern Indiana, but it's bright for the Irish side as they lead 24-3. 66-yard play. Jarius Jackson to Bobby Brown. Hunter Smith to kick it off for Notre Dame. Elijah Brookins at the other end. Brookins from Port Arthur, Texas, the home of Joe Washington. And the little guy slips out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. Back to the touchdown, Pat Hayden.
Well, Dick, you know, Audrey Denson had about 168 yards in the first half. So what do? You put 11 men up the line of scrimmage. There's nobody back deep here. You know, the furthest defender is only 5 yards off the ball. And Bobby Brown, the man in motion, No free safety there. You fake the ball to Audrey Denson, and you don't get any pressure on him. So I think Bobby Brown made a nice catch and run 66 yards for the touchdown, but give 33 of those yards if you will to Audrey Denson. Come on now. Yeah, thank you.
First down.
With a good run on first down.
Daryl Bush on the carry.
32-yard line, but I never get it phased today.
Bush kind of limping off the field. You know, Dave Roberts was saying about this team this year as compared to last year. So, you know, last year our team really wasn't very competitive in the ball games we played. He said at least this year's team has been in the mix most of all ball games. Now down to 24-3. His team needs a drive here to get back in the mix of this ball game.
Both wide receivers to the left on second down and 1.
Elijah Perkins.
Back to the touchdown, Pat.
Carries for a Baylor first down, tackled by Bobby Howard.
Staff. Last year, the third quarter was miserable
Perkins
for
to
them.
the 35.
They struggled through what they would describe as a mediocre season. This year, they're doing something very right at halftime because every third quarter, they've come out with something big.
Yeah, and that generally means you're making good adjustments. Jim Coletto up in the box, and good adjustments at halftime, and clearly they figured, hey, the Bears are going to have that many guys up at the line of scrimmage to stop the run. Let's take the run and get the ball downfield.
Hit by 3 defenders, but Simpkins holds on and matches his gain earlier this first half, 18 yards on the play.
This is a tough play by Garner Simpkins. First of all, it was a heck of a catch as he extends for the ball. The big strike zone there, and then he takes a shot. Tony Driver just knocks his head back, but bounces right back up. That is one tough and good ball player in Garner Simpkins. Good blocker, too.
Jimmy Friday came back to add the lick on the receiver. First down at the Notre Dame 47. Fake to Perkins. Intercepted on the deflection. Johnny Sanders was there, as was Bobby Howard.
When you watch this Notre Dame defense, really, unlike perhaps a year ago, you see a lot more guys around the ball. This is Don Arroyo had a touchdown opportunity a little bit earlier. But, again, there's 2 blue jerseys near the interception. There's guys always around the ball. Greg Madison, the defensive coordinator, has done a great job rallying guys. They have 11 fumble recoveries this year. A year ago, they only had 4 all season.
As coming up with a hit was a Johnny Sanders. A reminder, check out Notre Dame's official athletic department website at www.und.com. Live in-game statistics, transcripts of Davies press conferences, inside information on football, as well as 25 Irish sports at www.und.com.
Women's soccer team won again. Wisconsin, 6-1. Number 5 rated Irish women's soccer team.
The ankle of Daryl Bush, the tailback of the Bears. Third down and 8 at the Irish 45. They pick up the blitz. And on comes the punting team for Baylor.
I think Morris Anderson has been shut out today. I don't believe he's caught a pass. Morris Anderson, number 9, and he came into the game with 25 receptions, 3 touchdowns. He and Darius Thompson, good outside receivers, but they have not been able to deliver them the ball.
Well, you're down 24-3. If you have a fake punt, this might be the time to try it on 4th down and 8 at your opponent's 45. Can go wrong for Dave Roberts.
It is today on this day for Dave Roberts. Again, they had a couple of poor snaps last week. Over the head of Atterbury. couldn't gather himself. The Irish are going to have very good field position as they lead 24-3.
Back kept Kerbal snap over the head of his punter, Audrey.
Yeah.
That costs Baylor 31 yards and sets up Notre Dame at the Bear 24-yard line. Unfortunately, he could have turned. He had room to turn,
but he didn't know. You know, he thought maybe that the Irish defenders were right on his back, and he did the right thing, just getting on the ball.
I'm sure there's every punter in the world, when they turn your back on a play like that, you feel 11 guys are about to hit you.
Look what's happened here. I mean, Notre Dame has been very, very good those last 3 possessions.
The only time the Bears have stopped them is when Notre Dame has turned it over. Number 24, no game is David Wilturner, a sophomore from Houston. Solid tackle.
We're talking about centers. John Morandi, number 64, the center for the Irish, has had his right hand in the cast all week and actually snapped the ball left-handed all week, and they weren't sure whether he was going to be able to snap with his right or left hand. Still has his right hand taped up pretty well, but he was snapping with his right hand and snapping it pretty doggone well.
Morandi, the junior from Virginia, California. High school. David Gibbons, the wide receiver of the Bears, and Sean Armistead makes the tackle at the Baylor 17.
Another good look at John Morandi. Starts with that snap, and it amazes me how many times people have exchange problems. The Irish, even from day one, have had very good exchanges between their quarterback and center. Again, going back to that situation where they just don't seem to turn the ball over much.
Blue Jay, California, Lake Arrowhead area.
Rim of the world, nice goal.
Coach at Citrus Junior College, Morandi. Is inside the 15-yard line. Fisher from Euclid, Ohio, freshman, same high school as Robert Smith, the fine all-pro running back now with the Minnesota Vikings. And Bob Davey has promised we're going to see more and more of young Fisher.
There's Daniel Whitturner, number 2, I think, down for the Bears. One of those 7 defensive backs that play a lot.
And that'll be a 4th down and 1 when we return. The Irish trying to add to a sizable lead. Notre Dame on Halloween. Tough to field those ground balls with those things, I'll tell you that.
Pitchers in Boston, right?
They field a 3, and the Irish on 4th down and 1. Apparently will go for it, and Baylor has rarely stopped Audrey Denson. Let's see what the call is here. They bring that big blocking back, Mike Gandy, the 296-pound guard, in front of Denson. Denson, may not have made it. A good submarining tackle. Appeared to be Mishaw and Foster down low to get a piece of him. Charles Foster, the 255-pound defensive end from Waco.
And Mike Gandy really didn't block anybody on that play, did he?
There will be a measurement.
And so they will measure to see whether or not Baylor takes over on downs, and that would be a defensive boost for the Bears, who have done little to stop that running game. Oh, yeah. Indeed they do.
Baylor takes over on down.
Very big defensive play. Up here in front, and little linebacker Phil. Getting low, if you're right, Charles Foster was the first guy there. Rodney Smith was also there.
I wonder if he asked the ball carrier Denson, if I told him his birthday, that Foster, well, that's a difference. That's Johnson. Dwight Johnson, that's pretty interesting. They place the same spot. Dwight Johnson knows the birthdays of every guy on the team.
Really?
We'll see what day and year.
Opposing team or just his own?
Just his own. He may have blown down. May have shot it out and upset Denson. Rejected. For more, and Denson ends at 15. A yard gain. Weaver Turner and Bryant make the tackle, and Odell James now is the quarterback for Baylor as Coach Dave Roberts uses both Alfred and James. Look at this.
You know, I really believe it's difficult to kind of rotate quarterbacks and have any kind of consistency. And sometimes you wonder, hey, maybe Baylor's hard to prepare for because they do so many different things. But on the other hand, you wonder, hey, can you really be good at something if you're trying to do everything?
Roberts is hoping one of the two will make it. The obvious consistent choice. Used his 218 pounds to reject the ball carrier. It's Cooper from Evansville, Indiana.
This Notre Dame team is a good tackling team. One game they didn't tackle well was Michigan State. That's the game they lost. But they are a very good tackling team. You know, and they're fundamentally sound. You know, they don't see many big plays against this Irish defense.
Flag down. Personal foul on Notre Dame. Their first penalty of this game. And that'll give Baylor a first down.
He's got that hangdog look, doesn't he?
Dead ball. Personal foul after the play on the defense. First down.
Brad Williams was the man who made that initial rejection.
Hey, work down you.
Overstreet on the play before.
He's come on. Brad Williams was a guy, only 12 tackles all of last year, but has played pretty solid football the last couple of weeks.
Touchdowns down south in Wilmington, Indiana. Fullback to the 37-yard line, maybe the 38. Let's go back to the penalty. Watch the top of your screen. Chicken fighting, and Brad Williams ticketed.
You can always tell you he had that kind of hangdog look. He was never hit the ground. Coach pulled him off the field and embarrassing his mom.
Second down, long 2, closer to 3.
Legway.
He has the pumpkin.
Stopped by Lamont Bryant.
Total works, all 235.
If he lived in St. Louis, they'd make him an honorary Clydesdale. He's got that big, strong, powerful gait of his, but a very good receiver.
He has NFL hands.
Yeah.
We watched him practice. He must have caught 20 balls out of 20.
Yeah. 17 catches on the season. You see, it's kind of been an up and down year, but I think it's because they don't give him enough opportunities. I think it's hard for a big guy to get in the rhythm if you're only giving him 5 or 6 carries.
At NC State games where he had that fantastic run.
Let's go, let's go.
And get forward to the 46 of Notre Dame, right at the yardsticks. Maybe another Baylor first down.
Whereas the Notre Dame offense has had a big play today, a 66-yard touchdown. Baylor desperately needs one. I mean, again, this is a nice play, nice screen play to Derek Lagway. We just talked about his hands and how he can make people miss or run over you. But they need some plays down the field as they trail 24-3 to get back in the ballgame.
6 rushes for 23 and 5 for 28, and every yard has been hard and well earned for Lagway. And you can see if you're not sure tacklers, how Lagway could break a long one very quickly. They measure. He's resting right on the post, just inches shy. 7 minutes left in the third quarter. 24-3, Notre Dame leads. And Baylor trying to muster a march here and get back in the game.
Ready?
Simpkins to the left. And Audrey Fuller to the right. And straight ahead goes the fullback Lagway.
In the game and on the carry, but
about a half yard. That'll be enough for a first down.
He didn't get a lot either. Again, number 27, bottom of the pile, Bobby Howard comes up again. Boy, has he played well today. And his running mate, Jimmy Friday, inside. Well, number 13, I guess an appropriate number for today, right?
Jimmy Friday, yeah, we figured he'd do something. He says that if he continues that he's a Jimmy Friday the third, if he keeps having sons, and then his sons have sons, that one day there'll be a
Rudolph James.
Quarterback, 226 pounds.
Number by
Picks up
Farrar.
about 5. Well, pro wrestling fans, NBC special coming up.
Sunday, all the secrets pro wrestling doesn't want you to see.
I want to show you how big it is.
Pro wrestling's greatest secrets exposed. NBC Sunday, 7/6 Central.
That's going to shock you, Pat Aiden. Down in 5. Keeper and appears to have
Rudolph James, keeper again.
35-yard line.
The guy we haven't really talked too much about is big old Derek Fletcher, number 65.
8 and 6.
There he is, big.
And a first down.
6'6", 344 pounds. He wasn't born, he was founded. The area is right here. This guy started his career as a defensive lineman. 2 years ago, they moved him over to the offensive side of the ball. Last year, he's a tackle now, and he is going to be a very, very good player.
He bench presses 440 pounds and squats 805 pounds. And he has an explosive speed. The Irish defense spearheaded by Bobby Howard again. With
Bobby Howard got in there first.
The third quarter, only Purdue a field goal able to score on this Irish defense. Baylor threatens here with 5:07 left in the third. Well, it's quite a turnaround for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And we mentioned the coaches have had them, not just offensively where they've improved, but Madison and the defense have come up with the keys.
Well, you rarely do you see, somebody come wide open or miss a bunch of tackles. They're just good, sound defense.
This drive started way back on the Baylor 14-yard line after stopping the Irish. Not much yardage to be gained there. As tackled immediately was Morris
James complete for Morris Anderson
of the game, the leading receiver
Ty Good
for Baylor.
Yeah, and Ty Good, number 24, the defensive back of the Irish, comes in. There's 77. Brad Williams kind of fighting his way. Good read to get the ball to him, but again, 2 blue jerseys around the ball carrier.
Anderson said he loves to write poetry. We appreciate that.
Write something about a trade.
Third down at the 31. First down, yes, but Obiati trapped the ball.
Again, here in this situation, down 24-3, I think you're forced to go for this area of the field. Well, they can bring in their kicker. Down 24-3. I think this is the time, that clearly a trap. I'm surprised about the field goal attempt, Dick. I would anticipate they'd go for the first down here.
Yeah, the apparent field goal by Bryant, whose longest kick is 48.
Bryant will attempt a field goal.
38 would match
48
his
yards.
longest. In practice, he's hit them well over 60.
Kick is no good. No good.
Just missed. So Bryant and Baylor continues a day in which they have been denied. As if things weren't tough enough for Dave Roberts after Texas A&M and Texas, Notre Dame, then they go home. Homecoming next week against 4th-ranked Kansas State. Pupil of Lou Holtz, at least as an assistant for 3 years, and high praise for Holtz. He said he really taught me organization and toughness. Without saying it, he isn't a tough guy. He's really a nice man. He loves Notre Dame. He said it's the best of the best. His daughter Allison graduated just last May here at University. Over after the missed field goal at the 31.
Humpty Denson. Jason Larry took him up.
Jason Larry in there to make the stop. Holding against the Irish. Their second penalty. First on offense. Make that their third.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, spot of the foul, remains first down.
down here, I think.
Nice play by Larry to trip him up, and then number 40, Andre Taylor, to finish the job.
Well, Bob Davey was actually hosted by Dave Roberts when Bob Davey was interviewing for the job here. And I guess Dave had just accepted the sign on. And
he sat in a hotel room with snow right up to the windowsill saying, what have we done?
Yeah.
And he's out to the 28-yard line with Dwight Johnson. Tells old I know your birthday. Please be careful.
Dave Roberts, too, actually, as you said, recruited a couple of these guys. And Luke Pettigrew was taking number 54 for the Irish, their quick tackle. And Dave picked him up at the airport and said, you know, Luke, I've got good news and bad news for you. The good news is you're here at Notre Dame. It's a great spot. The bad news is I have not driven in snow for 15 years, so put your seatbelt on.
Next thing you know, they're up on a grassy part of the campus.
Fumbled the ball and the scramble at the 34-yard line, and Baylor says they have it.
Jensen on the carry. There was a fumble.
Denson, who had fumbled only a couple times in his entire career here, could this be his second in just this
Rodney Swift caused the fumble for Baylor.
What, 500 carries coming into today? Over 500 carries.
The Irish able to
There's recovered by Notre Dame.
Somebody did a good job in that pile. Because initially it appeared to
go, boys.
Jersey on the ball.
Go, right.
Right, Audrey Denson's, he's thrown an interception and had lost one on an option play.
Well, recovered at the 34-yard line.
Was able to
split it
out of there. And
the one-handed John Morandi.
That brings up 3rd down and 7. So Denson is only 14 yards away from the 200-yard mark for the first time in his splashy career here. Actually, was 2 seconds on the clock when the official called time. Notre Dame saving the 5-yard delay-up game by calling time. Comes with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Here at Notre Dame, the Irish one coming in 24-3. So for Dave Roberts, you get Ricky Williams, who's on his way to all the awards, apparently. Certainly the favorite at this point for the Heisman, as he's averaging 6.6, 259 yards last week. He's as if he stays healthy, he's going to pass Tony Dorsett more yardage than any runner in the history of the game, collegiate game.
You know, I watched that game and I was shocked. At the end of the game that he had 259 yards, but 128 in the last quarter alone.
Staying at Texas for his senior year. Tim Couch, Dave McDonald at UCLA, Kelly Smith at Oregon, fine quarterback at Central Florida, Culpepper, they're all hopefuls. But if Williams continues his rushing spree, it's going to be tough to knock out.
Well, Cade McNown has a chance because he's playing on a team that has an opportunity to win a national championship, and he is a very exciting player.
Who won the Heisman when you had your best year at USC?
Yeah, Archie Griffin won it back-to-back, yeah.
Other scores?
Charlotte falls to the Crimson.
This is approach November. Weather change. You think back the first game here at Notre Dame against Michigan, it was 100 degrees on the field. Cold is coming and can change very much strategies and outcomes of games.
This is incomplete.
Ball was Will Turner back in the game.
This is Larry with the pressure on the quarterback.
Pressure applied by
intended for Johnson.
Taylor.
4th down.
Appeared to be Andre Taylor coming through.
Well, Dick, this is, again, Baylor down 24-3. You'd love to see, if you're a Baylor fan, a punt block. And as we both know, this is something they do particularly well. They can come after the punter. They've foiled 5 different punters this year.
And Nakia Cody, number 8, has 4 himself in his career. Good kick. At the 36-yard line. First punt of the game for Smith, and he hit a good one. 44 yards. It's the best day in racing, 15th edition Breeders' Cup Championship, 7 races, all for $1 million or more, $4 million at stake in the Classic, and that's shaping up to be one of the great races of all time. 2 top money winners, 98 defending champion Skip Away, 97 Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner Silver Charm, and a first-rate field, including some of the best from Europe. They'll all go head-to-head, first time ever, however, for Skip Away and Silver Charm. Breeders' Cup, 7 championship races, richest day in racing next Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern here on NBC.
There's a fan, right? Oh, he did. We love the horses.
No, it's be able to stay down there in Lexington and the Paulson's wonderful 1,400-acre farm and go up and see the best in racing.
Before the snap, false start on the offense, remains first down.
Well, thanks, I can't make it though, but thanks for that nice invite.
But I'll send your card to Cigar. I'll tell him you said hello.
Well, that should be fun.
But had the pleasure of covering the Breeders' Cup, and it's not just the one great race like the Derby or the Preakness or the Belmont. It's 7 championship races to decide all the horse of the year. Meanwhile, the Baylor Bears trying to find a thoroughbred with less than 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Perkins for short yardage on first down, with Notre Dame in front by 3 touchdowns.
You know, and we watched Baylor today, and some talented people, but they just don't have, you know, a player, a guy they can hang their hat on right now. I think they're going to try to develop that. I think Dave Roberts has a good young team, particularly defensively. A lot of guys coming back, but they need, you know, either a bread and butter play or a horse they can really ride. We thought that was going to be Derek Lagler today.
Complete to Melvin Barnett, trips and goes down at the 20.
Only a couple.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Gained a couple, could have gained maybe 10 or 15 if you don't have to adjust for the ball. Odell James, kind of had a fourth foot. He had a pretty quick rush. He has to jump up to catch the ball and then slips. So if you throw the ball to the guy in stride, he catches it at the line of scrimmage, but still runs 10 yards.
Third down, 11 for Baylor.
Well, you called that a lot. There's your third 11 for third ball, a lot.
The Bears, not many downhill third downs. And gets out across the 25 to the 27, 4 yards short of a first
Odell
down.
James keeps the ball.
He's had that ball taken out of his hands
Back
from
by
the
Ronnie
backside
Nix.
as Corey Minor had charged through. Tackle made by Ronnie Nix, number 34, and the Baylor punting team is on once again. Kyle Atterbury will have a chance to think about it. That's the end of 3. Notre Dame 24, Baylor 3. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
Notre Dame, the traditional end of the third quarter salute to Tchaikovsky's 1812.
Where's Waldo?
That's right. You can find Waldo. Free tickets to Hayden's barbecue tonight.
Nice little tradition there.
Meanwhile, it's Atterbury in punt formation. We open the fourth quarter. Baylor trailing Notre Dame 24-3. Good snap this time and a wonderful kick. High Boomer together now. Again, no fair catch. And brought down at the 30-yard line. He's a little man, but does he have a big heart? Tackle made by Kenyatta Parker.
You're right, he does have a big heart. Remember what you were mentioning, his father, a longtime LA City policeman, and his father and Joey Gaither all came back to Notre Dame together when he was being recruited and said, hey, he really wanted to come here. They were concerned about his size, but boy, he has played like the little big man.
You know, it's interesting that most coaches, when they really want a kid, they go to the family and recruit the parents. Right. In this case, it was the parents coming to Notre Dame saying, recruit my son. Yep. I mean, he's tough and he'll play hard. And he'll be a good student. And Bob Davies said when they left, he said, I've got to have the kid. And off to the fullback and good speed. Driving straight forward for 3 of 4. Chris Mishaw leads the tackling core for Baylor. Dave Roberts, who is the head coach Northeast Louisiana and Western Kentucky before coming up here as an assistant.
Kind of interesting, I thought, leaving a head coaching job, although it was a Division I AA job, to come here as the offensive coordinator for Lou Holtz. But you know, as we pointed out before, an assistant's job at Notre Dame could be a springboard into a head coaching job, and that's what he got at Baylor.
Second down, 6. Fake to Denson. Jackson. Johnson. Jay Johnson out of bounds with a first down inside the 40-yard line. They mark it at the 37. Jay Johnson, the junior from Starksville, Mississippi's 4th catch of the year.
And another steady play by Jarius Jackson, who is growing into this quarterback role at Notre Dame really well. Good play action fake, and they should be a good play action team as we talked about earlier.
Right or wrong? Jackson throws better on the run than when he sets up something.
I think you're right. I mean, I think you're right. He feels very comfortable on the perimeter of the defense.
First down on a 28-yard throw. Jackson to Jay Johnson. Now it's Denson into a crowd. Well, one of my favorites, the Breeders' Cup next Saturday, and another favorite tomorrow, the World Professional Figure Skating Championships. Christy Yamaguchi defends her crown against a field of stars, including Oksana Bayul and Nancy Kerrigan. The encore presentation of the World Professional Figure Skating Championships tomorrow, 4 Eastern on NBC.
Have you ever broadcast skating as well? What do they call cow? What do they call the cow? Cow sows?
Sow cow.
Sow cow, yeah. I guess cow sow cow. You know.
I can do the cow sow. That's where you got confused. On my way to the room last night, in fact, I did a triple. Flag down.
Yeah. But East German, I only gave you a 3.3.
Yeah, it happens every time. And Nakia Cody took the brunt of that. And Robert Smith, they collided.
Yeah, it's Ronald Smith, 280-pound Ronald Smith, their nose tackle, and a doggone good one.
Sophomore from St. Louis. Played on the nation's #1 ranked defense before coming down to the heart of Texas in Waco.
That's what, Kemper Military, the JC in Boonville, Missouri. This guy is a good player. A lot of movement for a guy. Well, he actually started the season at 300 pounds, down to 280 now.
Step aside for this break. Foggy fall day in South Bend. Irish 24, Baylor 3. The penalty on the last play for holding against Notre Dame will bring up a 2nd down and 21. Report on Ronald Smith, went off under his own power. A mild ankle sprain. Audrey Denson still shy of that 200 mark, needs 13 more yards. Jensen with a keeper. Gets a good block. 15, 10. Finally knocked down from behind as Rodney Smith and Gary Baxter catch him at the 5-yard line. 43 yards on the quarterback call.
Well, they have not stopped the draw play all day. Baylor has not. Audrey Denson ran it for 168 yards in the first half. This is just a quarterback draw with Jarius Jackson. Strong runner, good moves, good cut back there, picking up a couple of blocks. And he gets slammed down at the end of this run, picks up a block by Jay Johnson as well. But good call and a strong run by Jackson.
You don't see many quarterbacks at 227 running the open field like that.
Absolutely, making guys miss and running through people.
Oh, 1st and goal, Notre Dame just inside the Baylor 5. Good speed, and Denson behind Jackson. Denson to the 2.
Audrey Denson.
Good tackle around the ankles from Fred Rogers.
By Fred Rogers.
the junior from Dallas. Denson now with 190 yards today.
He's always determined, Dick, but it seems like when he gets down here, he's even more so. Luke Pettigrew, number 54, out in front of him.
Took a good play by Rogers. Yeah. Denson had 6.
Well, Fred Rogers has made some good plays today.
Second and goal for the Irish.
The record is 255. Vegas Ferguson, that was in 1978, 20 years ago. Denson keeps, and right into the arms of 39, LaTroy Hamilton. LaTroy Hitchhike Hamilton from Sacramento, California. What was the story on him, Pat?
Well, he was when he came to Waco, his father gave him $20. He was supposed to get a car, but his father only gave him $20 to had to hitchhike all the way down to Waco. Had to go through the Mojave Desert for a while. Didn't catch it. It took him 7 days, I think. To hitchhike all the way down.
Jobs, lived on hamburgers, and
stayed at some homeless shelters too, I believe.
But he said, I wanted to get there, and now he's there to stay. And they really like the spirit of this young man.
Yep.
3rd and goal. Again, the shift. 3 receivers to the left. Jackson, incomplete. Good coverage by Baylor that time. No one could break open. He wanted to go out on the flat to the left. Meanwhile, Jason Jackson was in pressuring the quarterback.
Yeah, this was the play earlier that Bobby Brown caught for a first down. I thought Bobby Brown was open very quickly, but he was looking at a completely different receiver. Right at the very end, he changed his mind and tried to bring it back. That's why the ball went into the dirt, because I think he believed that ball may have been picked off.
So on comes Sanson for a short 21-yard field goal attempt. Good hold, and Sanson drives it through the middle, and Notre Dame boosts its lead to 24 points. 4th quarter, 10:44 remains. The Irish 27, the Bears 3.
Well, his team may be down 27-3, but Gary Baxter is still giving it everything he has. I mean, that's playing all out. I mean, you love the effort. Good things going to happen to you sooner or later. He's had an interception today. He was beaten for a touchdown by Malcolm Johnson, but still playing awfully hard.
Well, he blocked a big kick against North Carolina State to save that 33-30 win. He's a fashion design major there at Baylor. He said it's kind of nice. He's the only guy in most of the classes. He said, and someday look for it. The Baxter is going to be his line. The Baxter.
Any specialties? Suits, ties? What?
He said it's going to be an all-age, all-male line.
That's good.
Well, the Irish now with 10:44 left. On their way to their 5th consecutive win and 6 out of 7. Big hit. And the Baylor Bears will take the touchback at the 20. There's Elijah Perkins slipping as he received it. Well, he's a good guy, Dave Roberts, and he and his staff have worked hard in a way you'd like to see them get a score. And there's the cube, Gerald McNeil. He's in charge of the receivers. Said something really interesting. Had a chance to talk with him. He has all the receiving records there at Baylor and All-America, 10 years in pro football. He said, boy, do I appreciate what coaches did for me. I didn't realize how hard this is. Yeah. What a way to make a living.
Well, we had 163 catches at Baylor, and as you mentioned, a great 10-year NFL career.
Oh, wait, what do you ever hit 150 as a player?
No, I don't think so.
They used to say 148 just to make him feel heavy, but boy, he could put on some moves. That's right.
Yep.
Back at quarterback is Jermaine Alfred. Lagway gets just 1 on his first down carry. Lagway from the shotgun. At Alfred, and his pass is tipped by Benny Gilbo. So the Irish defense not playing soft. They bring the safety Gilbo, and he almost took that one right out of Alfred's hand.
This is really the blitz up here. The really focused defense that Greg Madison has got, and everybody seemed to contribute. And when you talk to these guys, there's no big egos, no prima donnas. Everybody has a role. Everybody understands their role. And Benny Gilbo started the year as a starting strong safety, was hurt, now contributing again.
Comes out once again. flags go down as Lagway tackled at the 25.
Face mask on Corey Minor, I believe there, Dick.
3 different yellow hankies spot the turf here at Notre Dame Stadium. Well observed, that penalty. It'll be 15 yards against the Irish.
Well, number 4, Greg Madison's rush in. Number 4 right there is Corey Minor. Hustling down the field, just goes a little too high, and there in the face mask of Lagway. Easy call.
So they mark it out across the 35 to the 40-yard line. And with 10 minutes and change remaining here in the 4th, the Bears in good field position to try to cut into that sizable Irish lead. 3 wide receivers to the left. Very short shotgun used by Baylor. Only 4 yards deep is Alfred. And then they run the option. Lagway, he hasn't made a lot of yards, but every play has he taken on the tackler.
Yeah, Brock Williams, who started that play at 5'10", is now 5'7". He is the corner, number 38, that tried to tackle Lagway. And this is what we said, if you're going to, hang your hat on somebody, maybe it's this guy, Derek Lagway. Now, obviously, you can't get yourself behind 27-3, but boy, he is going to bounce through some tacklers.
So the scores there, and Drew Brees continues to do a lot of good pitching for Purdue. Well over 300 yards again today and 4 touchdowns. Another ball batted down by Gilbo.
Well, you mentioned an interesting point. I mean, that shotgun is not very deep, and if you have a blitzing guy off the corner, and Jermaine Alfred does, either you have to get rid of it a little bit quicker, or you're going to have to get back further. Well-timed Benny Gilbo. A lot of teams blitz, but you have to time it right to be able to make a play, either to get the quarterback or knock the ball down, and that's well-scouted and well-designed blitz by Benny Gilbo.
It's a welcome return for the Notre Dame defense. Gilbo was out after that knee injury against Michigan State, missed 3 games. The Perkins hit the backfield and dropped by Sanders. Johnny Sanders. So Gilbo and Sanders, the 2 safeties dominating the Baylors in this sequence.
Well, you have to think, when you have those guys up there make tackles, something, you don't think he gets a little excited, Greg Madison? I think he's saying get off the field. But with those guys making that many tackles, there should be somebody open downfield.
Madison works at the local airlines when he's not coaching, bringing those planes into the gate.
He's an excitable guy.
Hannaberry to Getherall. Will he fair catch this time? Another courageous, defiant return by Getherall. 3 yards on a 42-yard punt. Timeout. 8:50 remaining. 27-3 Irish. Next Saturday, the Breeders' Cup, and in 3 weeks, LSU, the Irish play their final home game of the season. They split their pair of meetings a year ago, November 15th in Baton Rouge. Underdog Irish stunned the 11th-ranked Tigers, opening with 24 unanswered points and a shocking 24-6 win. But in the Independence Bowl, the site for the rematch, and the Tigers came ready to play. LSU third-string tailback Rondell Mealy ran for 233 yards and 2 scores. LSU routed the Irish 27-9. That's November 21st, our final game here on NBC. Meanwhile, the Irish go to BC and play Navy in Jack Kent Cooke Stadium in the nation's capital area before finishing out their year at Southern California. The quarterback, Arnaz Battle, a freshman from Shreveport, Louisiana. And he hands off to Tony Fisher.
Tony Fisher on the carry.
Freshman to freshman. And Rodney Smith there to make the tackle for Baylor. Battle, Shreveport, of course, historically great producer of quarterbacks, including Joe Ferguson, Terry Bradshaw, Stan Humphries.
Well, he's wearing the number of a pretty good quarterback that played here a few years ago, a guy by the name of Montana.
And one before that, Ralph Guglielmi.
Yeah.
Number 3, so they've saved that. It's a special number here at Notre Dame, and time is called here. Irish now making some substitutions, may have had too many men in that huddle. The battle come over and talk with Bob Davie. Well, we started today talking about the Irish have had their at-bats and they've won 4 in a row, but they're doing it with singles and doubles. Well, they've gotten some home runs today. They got the big one in the touchdown pass by Jarius Jackson of 66 yards to Bobby Brown. And Jackson with that big run as well.
And Denson added a couple of long runs also. And, you know, I think to really become a top flight team, you have to be able to beat an opponent several different ways. And, you know, the Irish are getting there. I mean, they started out beginning of this year only being able to beat you one way. That's Audrey Denson. And then they've kind of thrown in a few other guys to mix it in. But now today, for the first time, they've gotten some of those big plays.
And the other aspect, Pat, is while the Irish were very generous on defense early against Michigan State, Purdue, since then Stanford got 17, Arizona State only 9, Army 17, and Baylor but 3 today. So that defense has really been improving week to week.
Absolutely. And again, when your offense is driving the ball 80 yards, as Notre Dame has many times this year, 8 times, your defense is off the field a lot.
Double wing look. And spins out to the 30-yard line and a first down. Good move by the freshman. And look who else is in that Notre Dame backfield. Tony Driver. So Driver, who ran as a tailback last year, as a freshman, gained 125 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then they moved him to defense, and he didn't have a good game against Michigan State, you remember, and that's when he decided, maybe I'll just go home to Louisville and stay there. Stayed only 24 hours, returned, and there is some talk in some quarters that maybe Driver will return to offense next year, but he's proven himself as a good defender.
Yeah, well, he's highly recruited running back.
Jamie Spencer, as the senior leadership stays in there with this young core of runners and quarterback.
He may have been the most highly sought after running back a couple of years ago, and came to Notre Dame as thought he was going to handle the ball 25-30 times a game, and they may still see him at running back more next year. Started today's game at strong safety. Remember, he had the 2 big interceptions against Purdue.
May have turned the season around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Purdue was about to get beat Notre Dame that day, and the Irish would have fallen to 1-2. Reverse look to Driver, but did not fool the Baylor defense, and he's knocked down at the 41 by Rodney Smith. Will continue to lead Baylor in tackles with another big day today. Charles Foster assisted.
Well, you know, Dick, an interesting thing with Arnaz Battle here is Tony Driver. And how much work he really got at running back this week, as we said, started at strong safety. But Arnaz Battle, the heir apparent to Jarius Jackson. We talked to Jarius this week. He is a senior, but has an extra year, another year of eligibility. I'm talking about Jarius Jackson. So Arnaz Battle may see more of Jarius Jackson next season.
Oops, it runs into his own man, and he has to eat the ball as Fred Rogers in to make another good play for Baylor. But that's just a matter of a backfield perhaps not having a lot of continuity.
Yeah, took the sweater off on that one, didn't he?
Yeah. Rogers.
He's a big
one
guy.
is the other Fred Rogers, honored this year on the Hollywood Star Walk of Fame. Got a star. And
was it anywhere near yours? I mean, I know you were honored
and
this
I
past
didn't
year.
say that for that reason.
Oh, yes, you did. Come on. You were fishing. It was quite an honor, actually.
It was.
There's a bunch of gum over it now, by the way.
Sweater wears Rogers, and then Driver. Check that Fisher, Tony Fisher, straight ahead, and right at the 40-yard line will bring him a yard short, depending on the spot of the first down. Yep, and it'll be 3rd down and 1.
Talking to Jim Coletto this week, Dick, about Tony Fisher, and said, you know, he came in here at 202 pounds, and now he's back to almost 220. And he said Tony Fisher's ready to play. And here comes Jarius Jackson.
So on 3rd down 11, Jackson comes in to try to continue this time-eating drive. 5.5 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
Again, this surprises me why they wouldn't just give Arnaz Battle the opportunity, the chance.
Battle apparently dinged a bit on that one run. That's why. Jackson going to go long. Incomplete for 21 Javen Hunter, the freshman from Orchard Lake, Michigan, that they're very excited about.
There's a flag down there. Remember last week against Army, Javen Hunter was open twice for touchdowns like that, and Jerry couldn't quite get him the ball. Once again, Javen Hunter was there holding against the Irish. If the Irish have a home run hitter, I think it's Javen Hunter. He's the guy with that incredible speed.
He not only a fine football player,
Holding
but basketball.
on the offense, declined, 4th down.
Shoulder injury against for Arnaz Battle, and that's disappointing, and he's out for the rest of today.
You know, you really appreciate the durability of Jarius Jackson and Audrey Denson, all the hits and shots they take and still bounce up and play the next play.
Hunter Smith, his second punt of the day. Oh, does he hammer this one? That's Andre Fuller. And brought down at the 17 of Baylor. With it a timeout, 5:05 left in the 4th. It's Notre Dame by 24. Welcome back to Notre Dame. The treats on this Halloween have gone to the Irish, 27-3. Now, Pat, you go back to the West Coast. You gain 3 hours. I know you've got a really scary outfit tonight. You're going to go as a lawyer, huh?
No, you're terrible. Actually, I was going to go as a semicolon. Yeah, just a little something different. You know? You don't get that much in my neighborhood.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to our last stop this year at Notre Dame. We'll be in a couple of weeks against LSU. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, Lord, you are really bad. Oh, what time do you have to get that tie back?
Listen, that was the Halloween spirit.
Oh,
you could appreciate the color at least. Mike Odom is the quarterback for Baylor, the freshman from Flower Mound, Texas.
Michael Odom, the quarterback for Baylor.
He gets a chance, he gets some work, and gives to Anthony Overstreet. If that name sounds familiar, football Overstreet, his uncle is David Overstreet, who was the great runner at the University of Oklahoma.
Boy, was he ever. Wow.
Anthony is 5'11" and 218, a senior. Arnaz Battle, and sad to see that picture. So on that twisting run where he was hit hard, the shoulder injury, and as the backup to Jarius Jackson, now that role would fall to Eric Chappelle.
This is a guy, Arnaz Battle, they believe has a very, very bright future. I mean, much like Jarius Jackson, good thrower, and good runner, strong runner.
Now we've got a timeout with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left. We'll be right back after these words from your local station. Today's Chevrolet players of the game are Nakia Cody from Baylor, Audrey Denson from Notre Dame. In recognition of their effort, Chevrolet makes a contribution to the National Association of Student Financial and Administrators for disbursement to deserving college students so they may continue their education. The Chevrolet Scholarship Program has been a tradition for more than a quarter of a century. 27-3, Notre Dame leads Baylor. And the Baylor Bears trying to get a cosmetic score here in the late going. And that quarterback is young Mike Odom. Here's a high school junior back up to Chris Sanders, who's playing at SMU. Well thrown ball. And it goes to Darius Thompson for a Baylor first down out near midfield. That's a good-looking pass.
Yeah, and not only a good-looking pass, I think a little patience in the pocket. I think the hardest thing is when you come into this game is to not rush things, that he waited, and delivered the ball on time and on the money.
And the Irish basically on that back line with their front runners, although we see Justin Smith has come in at the corner. Bilbo and Deke Cooper are the back line. On the money again, flag down as Andre Fuller makes the catch. Yeah, we can hear the officials saying it's against the Irish. But he said defense.
This is a great opportunity for not only Mike Odom and some of these other Baylor players, but some of the younger Notre Dame defenders who haven't had a chance to play much this year.
holding on the defense, 10-yard penalty on a pass across the line of scrimmage. That's an automatic first down.
And the ball then marked at the Irish 43. So Jermaine Alfred and Odell James, there's their report card for the day. Between them, 99 yards.
A really difficult day for them. And give some credit to Notre Dame's defense, who played very, very solidly.
And Anthony Overstreet, who has the best rushing average of any Bear runner this year, just under 5 per carry, and he's certainly above that today.
Just a bit surprised, Dick, with the size of this offensive line, too, at Baylor. We mentioned Derek Fletcher at 344 pounds. You know, Greg German, the left tackle, good young player at 275 and such. They haven't really been able to get much going in that running game. The stance going, though.
Pass protection stance, but beaten on the play. The long throw by Odom incomplete, and Odom drilled as he delivered the ball.
That's a courageous throw by Odom. I mean, you know you're going to get smacked, and he threw the ball down the field awfully well and on time.
Jason Ching, the 6'3", 280-pound junior from Honolulu, number 99, burying Odom.
Oh man, yeah. There's that that stance. It's the way it starts, and this is the way it finishes.
Fletcher beaten badly by Ching, that inside move.
Ching's been one of those guys, kind of a hard luck story at Notre Dame. Came highly recruited from Hawaii, but battled a bunch of injuries and some illness.
Third and 4 for Odom. Blitz on, and down he goes. As crashing through was Tario Harrison, the freshman from Sulphur Springs, Texas. One of 14 Irish players from Texas.
Greg Madison has got a good blitz scheme going today. I mean, remember we saw Benny Gilbo, the strong safety, earlier have a couple of nice plays, deflections. This time it's an inside linebacker, Tario Harrison, who makes the play and forces the Baylor punt.
Just under 3 minutes to go, and Atterbury's 7th punt. Right about his average. He started today at 44.1. This one not as good as he pooches it, aims it for the sideline, and it is a good kick. They'll mark it at the 9-yard line. Well, the movie event of November is coming up on NBC. The Temptations, NBC, tomorrow night.
Well, Eric Chappelle is in at quarterback now for the Irish. You mentioned him a moment ago, Dick.
From Montgomery, Alabama, went to Carver High School there. He's a junior, 225-pounder. This is he has not thrown a pass all season and did not last year. Here's Tony Fisher, and the freshman forward for a couple of yards. James Calvin, defensive tackle for Baylor, makes the tackle.
You know, much like Dave Roberts has had a couple of good recruiting years, so has Bob Davie. You know, we talked about Tony Fisher a little bit. You've mentioned some other freshmen prominently today, and you know he has the basis of getting this thing really going here in a couple of years. This is not as we said, an overwhelming team, but I think it's a well-coached team that is disciplined, that makes you earn everything you're going to get against them. And today has added the element of the big play.
Other freshman, sophomore Jason Murray is in there. Tony Fisher stacked up as Baylor looks for the run and are accommodated. Well, think about the fullback position, Pat. You got Spencer the senior, behind him a junior Goodspeed. Behind him is this sophomore in there now, Jason Murray, that they like at 6'1" and 254, maybe the best blocker of them all. And then a freshman, highly touted Californian, Mike McNair, who was a sprint champion in California and rushed for nearly 2,700 yards out at Corona Del Mar.
Yeah, Mater Dei High School, a big program there in Southern California. And yeah, I mean, they have some depth at that fullback position, and
tailback as well.
Yeah, Tony Fisher, kind of the heir apparent. Audrey Denson still has obviously a few games to go, but Bob Davie should be happy with the progress of this team, and he should be congratulated because I think he's done a great job of bringing this team along.
And every week he's had some little wrinkle that really is well thought out. For example, this week he figured Thursday, a pad day. He said it's been a long season. They hit a lot in practice. He said, you know, you told them no pads today. And the little thing like that, you can appreciate it as a player. Oh, well, everyone felt lighter. Everyone felt better.
Well, you know, he has a thing, too, on Mondays in practice. He calls it Monday Night Football, you know, and all the guys who don't play today, I'm not sure they're going to be able to have Monday Night Football this week because everybody on the Irish roster has played. But generally, the guys who don't play on Saturdays, they have a little scrimmage on Monday night. The starters all stand on the sidelines and cheer and kind of root them on. And
Jarius Jackson said, I played too many Monday night games. He said, I'm glad finally my turns count. Now 3rd down and 7. Chappelle almost intercepted. 2 Baylor Bears around that one as it was intended for David Gibbons, and Sean Armistead appeared to get a hand on it. Well, tough at home, the Irish beating Michigan, Purdue, Stanford, and then a tough one last week against Army, and apparently winning today for 8 in a row, going back to last season and their last undefeated home season 9 years ago.
It's a team that is clearly gaining some momentum. I mean, this is, boy, particularly defensively, I think, a much different team than we saw earlier in the year.
High snap, but handled by Smith, who hurries his kick out. Taken by Fuller. Ray Fuller back inside the 50 to the Notre Dame 48-yard line. Tony Driver in there to play special teams.
Yeah, you know who's played well on special teams? Tony Driver and Bobby Howard both. I mean, one starts as strong safety. That's this man Driver, and Bobby Howard's a starting inside linebacker. But he's made some hustling special teams plays. So again, as we said, no prima donnas on this Irish team.
Now out come the Bears with minute 39 left. They've got 2 timeouts. And they're faithful, some 1,000 from Waco. Not much to cheer about today. And as we said, Kansas State, high-powered offense, will be in Waco next Saturday for homecoming.
A big win over Kansas, I believe, today.
Mike Odom at the controls. Screen, and this should work. He's got blockers as Bradway pounds his way inside the 35 to the 32 in a Baylor first down.
Well, a good lead block by Joe Jackson, the center of the Baylor Bears. He is not shoeless. He has actually got 2 shoes on. But Joe Jackson, the center, has played well and hard all day. And
another Joe Thomas of Notre Dame in on the tackle.
They had to give Joe that final E on his name. He has J-O on his jersey. He deserves the E after that play. There it is.
Well, he's there you go. Well, only a freshman. Better earn those.
Those vowels.
Oh, deflected and almost intercepted. Joe Thomas had it in his hands for a moment.
That's intended for Kyle Stout.
For Kyle Stott, freshman from Fredericksburg, Texas.
Well, the snap from Joe Jackson on the mark. Again, just bounces off the chest. Kind of a hard throw, but one that should have been caught. But it would have been a tough one by Joe Thomas. Getting his health back, number 49. Battled a bunch of injuries this year. That's depth at linebacker when they're healthy.
2nd and 10 with 1:15 remaining. Swing pass to Wagway and wrestled down by Joe Farrar. The junior from Castleberry, Florida, makes a solid tackle.
Team growing in confidence, Dick, and you can just sense it with every passing week on this Irish team.
What we've noticed from the very first game, and it continues through our chats with coaches and players this week, the fact that they don't feel there are any stars on this team.
Right,
there really is a tightly bound unit, Notre Dame. Crashing in was Brock Williams, the starting cornerback. And no, check that, it's Denman, 39 at 38. Anthony Denman, the backup to Corey Minor at rush linebacker, and he makes the sack.
Yeah, you just talk about the linebackers, the depth. You know, Anthony Denman, we mentioned, Tario Harrison, Joe Thomas, Ronnie Nix. Those guys aren't even the starters, but all have played well in this second half. It's Joe Thomas.
Well, they'll get this playoff only if they hurry. 10 seconds. I don't think Odom realizes that the clock's going to run out before he makes the snap here. just does get it off with a second left. Under pressure from Denman, and he has another sack. So Denman finishes this Notre Dame defensive effort with a couple of exclamation points. And Dave Roberts' return to Notre Dame not very fulfilling. All Irish, 27-3. We got on to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Dick. Audrey, Denson, congratulations. 189 yards today. Did you want to stay in and get 200?
I mean, like I said, I don't go out and I don't run against numbers. I have a hard time competing against numbers. I just wanted to go out and do whatever I could to help the team. We had the game out of hand. There was no need for me to go back in the game.
How much confidence does this give the team going into the final few weeks? And was this the best game that Notre Dame has played this season?
I don't think this was the best game we played by far. We killed ourselves a lot, self-inflicted penalties. And as far as is this the best game we can play, we know that if we go out and execute, we can play with anybody.
Audrey, congratulations. Great day for you.
Thank you.
All right, let's send it back upstairs to Dick and Pat.
Audrey Denson, all of his teammates appreciate his high-powered spirit as well as his talent. The final score again, 27-3. Back shortly. Now we go directly to Dan Hicks in our New York studio, the Sun America post-game report.